I have today, in line with the powers given to me by Article 1521 and 1525B of the Constitution and Sections 12 of the Office of the Attorney General's Act, decided to dismiss with immediate effect all the Cabinet Secretaries and Attorney General of the Republic of Kenya, of the Cabinet of Kenya, except the Prime Cabinet Secretary and Cabinet Secretary for Cabinet Secretary for Foreign Affairs and Diaspora Affairs. And of course, the Office of the Deputy President is not affected in any way. I will immediately engage in extensive consultations across different sectors and political formations.
Hi everyone, welcome back as we dive into the political arena where President Ruto shockingly dismissed almost his entire cabinet due to arrogance, corruption, display of flamboyance and opulence, and failure by cabinet secretaries to dispatch their duties diligently. Here we look into their net worths one by one. Justin Bidan Muturi, JB Muturi, as he is popularly known, is the immediate former Attorney General in the Ruto administration. Muturi estimated his wealth at 700 million Kenyan shillings. The specifics of his wealth status were not made public. He, however, explained that his main sources of income included farming, consultancy, and government pension. As the immediate National Assembly Speaker, Aden Bar Dwali, aged 53 years. The former defense CS told Parliament that he estimated his net worth to be about 851 million Kenyan shillings. His wealth was mainly in real estate, where he earns 10 million Kenyan shillings in rental income and livestock. Among his possessions are goats, cows, and 231 camels. Alfred Ingonge Mutua, aged 52 years old. The immediate former Foreign Affairs Cabinet Secretary in the dismissed President Ruto cabinet has net worth in the region of 420 million Kenyan shillings. Mutua's wealth is mainly in his ownership of hotels, including the ANL Hotel in Machakos. He also confirmed owning some apartments.
Alite Mutoni Wahome.
She has been holding the position of Lands, Housing, and Urban Development Cabinet Secretary until dismissal. Her net worth is at 218 million Kenyan shillings. Mainly in property she owns alongside her husband, that her investments in real estate earn her a monthly income of 500,000 Kenyan shillings in a good month. She resigned as Kandara MP to take up CS role. Professor Abraham Kithir Kindiki, aged 52 years old. The former cabinet secretary in the Ministry of Interior placed his net worth at 544 million Kenyan shillings. Real estate dominated his portfolio, with land and buildings accounting for 165 million Kenyan shillings. Professor Njuguna Ndung'u, aged 62 years old. The fired Treasury Cabinet Secretary placed his net worth at 950 million Kenyan shillings. Professor Ndung'u is a career academic, but has also worked for various institutions as an economist. His most prominent role was as central bank governor, where he worked between 2007 and 2015.
Aisha Katana Jumwa,
aged 47 years old. Aisha Jumwa, the immediate former cabinet secretary for the Ministry of Gender, has net worth in the region of 100 million Kenyan shillings. Jumwa is a career politician who has been in elective politics since 1997. Davis Kimutai Churcher, aged 64 years old. The immediate former cabinet secretary in the Ministry of Energy and Petroleum has a net worth of 482 million Kenyan shillings. His wealth includes farms in the Rift Valley, his city residence in Spring Valley in Nairobi, 95 million Kenyan shillings, a rental property in Westlands, 50 million Kenyan shillings, shares at a local T-Value Addition company, 185 million Kenyan shillings, and bank deposits. Moses Kuria, aged 53 years old. The immediate former cabinet secretary for the Ministry of Public Service placed his net worth at 750 million Kenyan shillings. His wealth includes investments in real estate and shares in various companies dealing in fintech, manufacturing, and energy sectors.
Kipchumba Murkomen,
aged 45 years old. Fired cabinet secretary in the Ministry of Roads, Transport, and Public Works, has net worth of 550 million Kenyan shillings. His wealth is mainly in real estate, including his home in Nairobi, a second home in Eldoret, and parcels of land in Nairobi, Narok, Trans Nzoia, and Kajiado. Rosalinda Soypan Tuya, aged 45 years old. The immediate former Cabinet Secretary Environment and Forestry is worth 156 million Kenyan shillings. Her wealth is mainly in real estate, including 3 homes in Nairobi, Narok Town, and in her home village. She also owns rental properties in Nairobi and Narok and has 2 undeveloped pieces of land in Kajiado. The rest of her wealth is in Sacco shares and vehicles. Penina Malanza, aged 50 years old. The dismissed Cabinet Secretary Ministry of East African Community placed has net worth of 300 million Kenyan shillings. She explained that her assets were mainly in real estate, 240 million Kenyan shillings in land she owns in Mombasa, Kitui, Nairobi, and Kitui counties. She also owns vehicles worth 10 million Kenyan shillings and has Sacco deposits totaling 30 million Kenyan shillings, the rest being in livestock and farm machinery.
Zacharia Mwangi Njeru,
Aged 56 years old. The immediate former Cabinet Secretary for the Ministry of Water and Sanitation estimated his wealth to be 80 million Kenyan shillings. His wealth includes a home in Nakuru, various parcels of land, and shares in local businesses and SACCOs. Njeru has worked in the private sector with stints at DT Dobi, Madison Insurance, and Blue Shield Insurance.
Susan Nakumicha Wafula,
Aged 43 years old. The immediate former Health Cabinet Secretary estimated her wealth to be 101 million Kenyan shillings. Her wealth was mainly in real estate, including a townhouse she owns in Syokimau. She also has parcels of land in Trans Nzoia, Kakamega, Eldoret, and Bungoma counties. The rest is in shares held in SACCOs and at a local bank. Wafula is a pharmaceutical technologist who has worked in various hospitals and organizations in Kenya. Franklin Mithika Linturi, aged 53 years old. The immediate former Cabinet Secretary nominee for Agriculture Wealth is around 1.2 billion Kenyan shillings. Linturi's assets were mainly in real estate, including homes and developed properties. He also has shares in multiple businesses. Eliud Wallo, aged 55 years old. The immediate former Cabinet Secretary nominee for the Ministry of Information, Communications, and Technology, ICT, declared that he was worth an average of 645 million Kenyan shillings. His assets mainly include real estate with 2 homes in Nairobi and Siaya. He also has a piece of land valued at 200 million Kenyan shillings, an incomplete hotel worth 80 million Kenyan shillings, and a commercial tree-growing business worth 120 million Kenyan shillings.
Ezekiel Mahogu,
aged 66 years. The dismissed Education Cabinet Secretary placed his net worth at 590 million Kenyan shillings. His wealth is in real estate, including homes and commercial residential apartments in Nairobi, Kisii, Kajiado, and Mombasa.
Ababu Namwamba,
Aged 48 years old. The fired Cabinet Secretary for Sports estimated his net worth to be 435 million Kenyan shillings. His wealth was mainly in real estate, including his homes in Nairobi and Budalangi. He also owns a lakeside resort known as Chase Bay next to his rural home, as well as another piece of land in Nairobi. His assets include shares in Nairobi Securities Exchange, NSE, listed company.
Rebecca Miano,
Aged 58 years old. The immediate former Cabinet Secretary for Trade and Industry has net worth of 397 million Kenyan shillings. The assets were mainly in real estate, including a home in Nairobi and in Nyahururu, which she co-owns with her husband. She also owns 3 vehicles as part of her assets. Simon Kelagui, aged 53 years old. The immediate former Cabinet Secretary for Cooperatives and Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Development indicated that he was worth 993 million Kenyan shillings. His assets were mainly in real estate, including homes, rental apartments, and a farming business. Salim Vuria, aged 54 years old. The fired Cabinet Secretary for Mining, Blue Economy, and Maritime Affairs estimated his net worth to be 120 million Kenyan shillings. He owns a house, land investments, vehicles, and had bank deposits. Florence Bohr, aged 52 years old. The dismissed Labour Cabinet Secretary net worth stands at 200 million Kenyan shillings. Her assets include a 25 million Kenyan shillings home in Nairobi, a tea farm in Kericho, land in Kajiado, vehicles and deposits in SACCOs. Mercy Wanjau, The immediate former secretary to the cabinet net worth stands at 475 million Kenyan shillings. Well, that's all we had on the dismissed expensive cabinet assembled by the president. We are all eager to know who the president appoints next to reconstitute a new-look cabinet soon. Thank you for watching. Please do not forget to subscribe to our channel for more updates.